Why I hate Mark Zuckerberg. Here's why I don't like Mark Zuckerberg so much. Did you ever notice how rarely a child declares, "When I grow up, I want to be just like Mark Zuckerberg"? You'd assume that everyone would aspire to be like him on the surface. He produced a product that the majority of people use on a daily basis. Who wouldn't want to follow in his footsteps of a tech billionaire CEO who runs one of the biggest and most successful social media businesses in the world? It appears that nobody does. Others who hold comparable power but have chosen a completely different path and are viewed differently by society exist. Elon Musk, Jack Dorsey, and Steve Jobs are just a few of the CEOs who have given a generation of young people hope that anything is possible. Their incredible imagination is what makes them admirable. They don't adhere to any restrictions in their daily lives. They also give off a very vulnerable and authentic vibe. They make good use of their influence to improve the world. My point is that Facebook is extraordinarily prosperous and headed for global dominance. On paper, he seems to have attracted quite a following. Facebook is secretly hated by everyone. Facebook has chosen some of the most wise strategic actions. They spent money on WhatsApp and Instagram and are developing their own cryptocurrency. Facebook is a rising force in the tech industry, but they have a lot of secrets. I visit Facebook occasionally, maybe once every few months. I believe Facebook has a sizable audience at the 50-plus age group. My phone doesn't have the app, and I can hardly remember my password. On the other hand, I probably visit Instagram every day. I should really get around to deactivating my account one of these days instead of just completely deleting it, since that's currently not possible. I know a lot of young people, but they rarely use Facebook, but Instagram is their only obsession. Even though the majority of users despise the platform and realize they have nothing to gain from it, they keep returning. I frequently see a political post from that person who I vaguely remember from high school. Perhaps my ex-girlfriend is posting pictures of her new home, her husband, and her 3 children. What advantage do any of these things give me? Facebook merely fosters artificial bragging, guilt, and a decrease in social interaction. It eliminates the need to speak with people on a one-on-one basis by broadcasting news about your life to a social media platform. One of Facebook's most unfavorable traits is this. Consider the scenario where you announce the birth of your child on social media. It may seem nice to have all your friends and family see, but it's not. However, how much better and more personal is it to speak directly with a close friend over the phone? This makes it much more significant. And how his relationships and friendships continue? Not by sharing something on Facebook. Facebook is essentially just a way for me to say, "Hey, look at the cool thing I did and you didn't." How does the world benefit from that? The next time you publish something on Facebook, ask yourself that. Every time I use Facebook, I come away with a bad feeling in my stomach. As you scroll endlessly, you can almost feel the dopamine entering your bloodstream, but in an unclean manner. Although new features are constantly being added, I can see how it's a highly addictive platform that hasn't changed all that much since I first signed up for it back in 2007. Many of the original Facebook engineers have publicly expressed their regret for what Facebook has become. They made an effort to make it addictive, and it succeeded. Until their deeds caught up with them, they ought to cause all of us to question their motivations. Large advertisers and users have made numerous attempts to boycott Facebook. Their efforts had no effect on Facebook's skyrocketing revenue figures. In addition, Facebook engages in some incredibly shady and immoral tracking and sharing of personal data. The truth is that only a select few Facebook employees are aware of the real situation. Additionally, Facebook has long been charged with tracking people who don't even use the social media platform. They typically lose in court, pay a small fine, millions of dollars, and then carry on with their business as usual. Nobody really loves Facebook aside from advertisers. I'll agree that Facebook Marketplace is a fantastic platform feature. A movie called The Social Network. The film emphasizes the creation of Facebook. In essence, it demonstrates Zuckerberg mistreating those closest to him in order to acquire as much of Facebook as he can. The Winklevoss twins, who went on to achieve enormous success on their own, were the sources of the original concept of Facebook, originally the hardware connection to connect you. They're Bitcoin billionaires and the proprietors of the well-known Gemini exchange. Eduardo Saverin, who was Zuckerberg's business partner and later the CFO of Facebook, was forced out of the organization by Zuckerberg by diluting his shares and giving them to Sean Parker and the venture capitalists who had initially backed Facebook. You came away from the movie with the impression that he was a self-centered jerk who would do anything for his own benefit. I believe that we enjoy seeing wealthy individuals contribute to society and improve the world. We don't need to see any more ruthless, wealthy jerks. These individuals are widely present in the media. We don't want our children to look up to and emulate that personality type. Ironically, the social network did Zuckerberg no favors in the eyes of the public. He doesn't appear in the media. The fact that the Zuck rarely posts about his personal life is acceptable and should be respected. He occasionally gives interviews and even has to give testimony to Congress. What views does Zuck hold regarding global warming? The unknown. He never shows up on CNBC at random like other tech CEOs who are philanthropic and want to make the world a better place. Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, Mark Cuban, etc. 2015, he did make a $75 million donation to the San Francisco General Hospital where his wife had previously practiced pediatrics. However, there's controversy even in this scenario, which gives the impression that he is doing good in the world. Following a string of scandals involving Facebook, the supervisory board is making an effort to have his name removed from the hospital. Nobody wants his name to appear in the hospital. On their platforms, he's alleged to have improperly handled the personnel data of billions of users. With the Cambridge Analytica scandal in 2018, this came to light. It's difficult to like him when negative information about him and his business practices keep surfacing even though you want to. Facebook has been stolen by him. I briefly discussed this earlier with the movie, but the point is still valid. The sneakiest way possible was used by Zuckerberg to steal the concept for Facebook. And no one enjoys a thief. People who expand on their own ideas are liked by us. In the early years of Facebook, he was terrible to those who were closest to him. He and some of his closest friends ended up being parties to numerous lawsuits. Everyone has encountered someone who claims credit for ideas that were not their own, possibly at work, maybe for a project for school. These are people that we don't like. We often criticize these personality types to our friends. The kind of egotistical scrounger mentality is what drives people away. It's not a trust-building action. Furthermore, once you've betrayed someone's trust, it's very difficult to earn it back. People simply cannot support this kind of dishonest behavior. There are the personality types that we complain about to our friends. It's this type of selfish, freeloading mentality that makes people run away. It's not an action that fosters trust. When you violate someone's trust, it's nearly impossible to get it back. It's this type of disingenuous activity that people just can't stand behind. The guy isn't cool at all. In no way am I trying to be mean or cruel by saying this, but it's precise. When it comes to coolness, Zuckerberg lacks an advantage. He loves computers, so am I, but there are lots of people who are envious of computer nerds. In the end, Facebook views its users as consumers of advertisements. Facebook generates all of its revenue in this way. If something is offered for free online, you probably are the actual product. You can direct more eyes toward advertisements the more users they have. As a Facebook advertiser, you can specify that you want this ad to be seen by girls between the ages of 18 and 21 who reside in these states, who are interested in X activities and who earn Y amount of money. I want to sell them this item so they can temporarily feel better about themselves before they feel worse and try to buy more things. One enormous negative feedback loop is Facebook advertising. Even though he is a literal billionaire, he still gives in to greed. It appears that his life work is to raise Facebook's stock price and continually find himself in legal trouble for questionable business practices. Elon Musk waving a flamethrower and Jack Dorsey purchasing millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin on Square's balance sheet are both extremely contentious and exciting activities. It is precisely the kind of daring move that intrigues people. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.